Hey friend, you are listening to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Brown. I'm a professional home organizer, decluttering specialist, and business coach. I created POC to empower you to reach new heights in your business. Through insightful interviews, expert guidance, and actionable strategies, we will equip you with the tools that you need to excel. This podcast is not just about tidying up spaces. It's about building a supportive sisterhood of passionate professional organizers. Whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just starting out, this podcast is for you. So let's do this. Hey friends, today I wanted to come on and answer some questions, just like I did the live last week here inside of the Facebook group. I wanted to do that again and make sure that I got all of your questions answered. I want this to be at least, once or twice a month that I'm able to come in and answer your questions, because I don't want you stuck in your journey or, as you're starting your business. Like if it's one question that has you stuck, please pop it into the Facebook group. Make sure to let somebody know we are here to help you. And of course, if you have more than one question or you need support, you always have our group coaching community you can come join us in. That's what we do every single week in there. And inside of the app that we have where we support one another is we are there to help each other. The questions I have today, there's like 10 or 11 of them. And I wanted to go over each one and kind of give you a rundown of my experience and my thoughts on the matter. So question number 1, this is from Autumn. Autumn was wondering, how many trash/donation bags do you haul away? And then she specifically put 10 bags with a question mark. So here's my thoughts on how much you should haul away. First off, whatever it is that you're going to haul away, you need to make sure that that is in your client agreement. That way, your client expectations are set from the beginning. And when they agree to work with you and they hire you, they already know what to expect. So whatever that number is, you can come up with it. For me, I've always told them that whatever fits in my bags that they decide that day from that session, whether it is donations or trash, that I will haul it away. So like, for example, the other day, I had 3 carloads of stuff I took away at the end of the session. Typically, I have 1 to 2 carloads, but I also provide the bags. And the reason I do this is because when I was first starting out, I had a client that was like, no, use my bags. And we actually ended up, as I was carrying it out to the car to put it in the car to haul away, it had something sharp. And because it was just a regular kitchen bag, it broke. Everything shattered, went all down the driveway. It was a hot mess. And so I learned very quickly that I go to Home Depot and I get these Husky contractor bags. Now you can also get them at like Walmart and I think Target and a few other places. But if you don't go to Home Depot to get them, they're not as thick. They're still better than regular trash bags. But the ones at Home Depot are very thick and they're black and they're big. And so I love those Husky garbage bags because it makes life simple. Now, the other thing that I've learned with hauling stuff away is don't overfill the bag too much, because your back will be upset with you as you are carrying it out to the car to haul it away. Now, I know of some organizers that they only haul away donations and they don't haul away the trash. So it's really up to you. Now, it depends on how many hours you're going to be working. I do sessions. And so during my session time, I know that it's normally going to be about 1 to 2 carloads, and I'm okay with that. And I normally try to be strategic about it. Like if I know that, the donation place that I'm going to take this stuff to is actually like 5 minutes down the road, I normally try to go ahead and, as we're working, put the donation bags in the vehicle. And then I'll leave the trash bags if I know, the dump is on my way home and it's farther away than the donation place is. Then I'll, leave the bags either on the porch or in the driveway and keep putting the trash bags there. And then at the end of the session, I haul away the donation ones, come back, fill my car up without having to go back into the house. and I'm able to put those bags into the vehicle for trash and then haul them off on my way home, or vice versa. If I know the dump's only 5 minutes away, but the donation place is on my way home, then I'll do the opposite. So it really just depends. This is your business. It's however you would like to set it up. I know that most of my sessions are decluttering sessions. So we're going to have a lot of donations and trash. And so I don't want to leave that stuff there for my client to have to deal with. It is part of how I promote my services and making sure that they don't have to deal with anything once I leave, that the job is done for that day. And so for me at first, when I was doing my client agreement, contract, whatever you want to call it, I put on there, I think 5 bags maybe, because I knew that was about how many would fit, 5 or 6 per carload, because I have a smaller car. But as time has gone on, I've just told them, whatever you decide is donation or trash during our session that day, I haul away at the end of the session, unless it's like furniture or something that obviously will not fit in my vehicle. But if it'll fit, I'm more than happy to haul it away. But that's also why I charge a premium price, and I feel good about charging that premium price, is because I know that I'm going to be doing that extra work also. So that's just something to think about. But again, it's completely up to you how you want to do it. Just make sure it is in your contract and that you go over it in the consultation with the client. So the client expectations, they know what it is from the beginning. All right. Autumn also asked, how do you figure out your client's organizing style to make sure it will be functional for them and not just pretty? So this is a great question, Autumn. Of course, I'm sure most of us follow Clutterbug, and she has her 4 different, the bee, the ladybug, just the different styles. So pretty much the way that I do this is just through conversation. And when you go to do the consultation, especially in the beginning, you are going to notice how a client is, like how their home is set up. And when you go through and you're doing the consultation and you ask them things like, what part of this room is working for you? Or if they show you an area like, hey, I organized this, last year and it's still working well for me. And you look and see that they have like colored bins, or they have clear bins, or whatever that is. It's more about just having a conversation with them. Most clients can answer your questions. And the questions that you kind of want to ask are they the type that it's out of sight, out of mind? Because if that's the case, then you want to make sure that they can see things that they need to be able to see. You also want to find out, are they the type that when they go to start putting this stuff away again, do they want it very micro organized, or would they rather it be more macro and just like for them to maintain it and the functionality of it for them to keep it going? Is it easier for them to just kind of throw it in and go? Are they more likely to do that? Or do they enjoy actually taking the time to like fold it and get it in there perfectly? It's also about figuring out, when it comes to the types of baskets, some people have a problem with plastic. If they do, they will let you know. Some people, it's more about the actual like aesthetic of it, whether it looks and matches, or they prefer clear because they've seen that. Like, they normally can answer those questions for you. I've had plenty of clients that, when we go to shop for products, I'm like, hey, so here's an option in a clear bin. Here's an option in a plastic bin here that's colored. Here's an option in a wood or a weaved basket, those types of things. And they'll know right away which they would prefer in their home. And so it's just about open communication and asking those questions. Now, I know you also had a question. Do you measure cabinets and drawers, etc., for the space before or after decluttering? So it kind of depends. Every session is going to be different. Preferably, the way that I like to do it is during the consultation, I get the measurements if we have time during the consultation. So if you go in and they seem pretty comfortable with you and it's a pretty quick like conversation, and you're going to be coming in to do, let's say, the bathroom, you definitely want to go ahead and at least get those bathroom measurements while you're there. Once you come back to do the session for the bathroom, then you could always get the measurements for the next area that you want to tackle. You don't want to overwhelm them by going and measuring every single space and every single everything, but you also don't want to walk away with no measurements if they're expecting the bathroom to be done in one session. So I personally prefer, like if it's up to me, which it's technically not though, because it's how much the client can afford. It's, there's a few different factors involved. And so ideally, what I prefer to do is come do the consultation. I come back to do a session where we declutter the area and get everything put back neatly and do the measurements, then go purchase the products and come back to technically organize it. Now, that's not always the case because that would be 2 sessions for, especially something like a bathroom. You may not need the entire time to do that. So like recently I had a client that she wanted to do the decluttering and the organizing in the same session because it was a smaller bathroom. And so I went ahead during the consultation, I got the measurements. Before I came to do the session, I went ahead and I looked and make sure you take photos. So you want to take photos that you can refer back to when you get home and start looking for product. You want to have your measurements of how wide each space is, how deep it is, and then how tall. And honestly, it's as simple as like drawing it up on a piece of paper. And then I'll sit and write out like each thing, like, oh, there's, 16 inches tall versus 19 wide versus 12 deep or whatever it is for each little area I draw. Or you can take notes on your phone, whatever works best for you, but you definitely want those measurements. And then you also want to take the photos. And now when you're making notes, if you don't actually draw out the area, make sure you say like, this is under the sink, or measurements in left door under sink, or measurements in drawers under sink, or measurements in tall cabinet to the left of the sink, something to give you some kind of reference when you get home and you're looking at the photos, because then that's going to help you know a little bit more of what products to get for that area without you getting super confused once you get home. And it just takes some practice. It takes some time. But again, I prefer to declutter first because then you know exactly what's going to go in there. And then you're able to go home, send the links for the products, and then the products can arrive and it makes it a lot easier at the next session. But not everyone can afford that. And so again, it really just depends on the client, their needs, and what the area is. All right. So next question was red flags for terrible clients and when to walk away. So I have a couple red flags that one is your gut. Always trust your gut, especially phone call and at the consultation. I always keep everything on me, which everything includes like my notepad, my phone, and my keys for the consultation. But if you're feeling any type of way, you can always just make a comment of, oh my goodness, I didn't realize like I am so super booked out, but I will definitely find you another organizer in the area and get you their information. If you're feeling super bugged out or super weird, then, if you have to make an excuse of like, oh my gosh, there's an emergency, I've got to go, but I will get back with you. Whatever that is, but you want to make sure, sometimes on the phone, it may be just that they're really stressed out. And so if your gut's a little like, they seem like they might be a hard client to work with, but let me at least go do the consultation to kind of get a little more of a feel for them. And then sometimes during the consultation, they're completely different than they had been on the phone when you talked at a previous time. So it really just depends. But you have to trust your gut as a business owner and as a female going into a home by yourself. Then the other kind of red flag are the clients, in my opinion, that need you today or tomorrow. They're not willing to, like, when they call, they're like, oh, this has to be done immediately. I need you here tomorrow. Or they don't understand that you work with other clients or that you have a process and that you need to come do the consultation first before setting up the session. Every one of those clients I've ever taken, and I'm like, okay, well, let me see if I can work you in and let's hurry and do this. And we'll just skip the consultation and go straight to the session because I know you really need my help. Every one of those I have honestly regretted taking them on as a client because they're never thankful for what you do. Nothing's ever good enough. Now, I do have some clients that are like, oh, I need it kind of quickly, which is fine. Like that's understandable, especially if like they have family coming in town or, they have like a date that they need it done by. That's different. But if it's somebody that calls and is just like, oh, it has to be done tomorrow, or, I've even had clients that are like, oh, I need it done like as soon as we possibly can. If you have a cancellation, let me know. And then I try to like work things around or I have a cancellation. So I call them and then they're like, oh, no, it's fine. Like, we'll just keep it the regular day that we had originally booked a week or two from now. So like you can never really go when it comes to that by what they say. But the point on the red flag part is that if they are like super pushy and super like it has to be done today or tomorrow, just go on and don't even try to appease them, because no matter what you do, that's more than likely going to be who they are. And it's going to be very hard to please them anyways. Another question that Autumn had was, do you tidy the area between sessions or leave the space as is to pick up where you left off last time? So the reason that I recommend for my ladies that are starting their business to do at least a 4-hour session, even though I do a 3, is because I've gotten a lot faster over time. But in the beginning, you need that extra hour because you want to make sure to at least put it back neatly before you leave that day, because the next session may not be for another week or there's a period of time and they still need to live in that area and be able to function in that area. Now, I will take things like sometimes I just kind of make piles and put them back in neatly, but then I either make a note in my phone so I remember where to pick up at the next session, but I make sure it's like up out of the floor or it's like, that it looks neat. It doesn't have to be perfect so we can pick up with where we left off as I come back for the next session. But I do at least make sure it's as neatly put back as possible to kind of end the session that day. Hey friend, are you getting stuck in the challenges of launching or growing your business? Do you feel overwhelmed by all of the things that you think you should be doing? Girl, I've been exactly where you are, which is why I'm now offering Unstuck coaching sessions. For just $77, you get 60 minutes of one-on-one personalized support and the expert guidance that you need to navigate your way to success. Don't let obstacles hold you back any longer. This coaching is the answer you've been searching for. Are you ready to know exactly what your next steps are? Book your session today and rediscover the hope and clarity you need to thrive. Go to proorganizerscoach.com or click the link in the show notes and I will see you there. Tackling papers. So, honestly, Autumn, tackling papers is it's a whole nother beast. It really depends on, are they bills? How does the client's mind work? What are their goals for those papers? Every single situation is completely different when it comes to papers specifically. Is it mail coming in, or is it that they have a business and they need like actual office paperwork organized, or does some of it need to be put on their computer, or does some of it need to be shredded, or, and so all of those really are about asking the client and just having that conversation with them so you can make sure what their goals are and that you can help them accomplish those goals. And it's okay to tell a client, okay, I'm not 100% sure exactly how I'm going to do this yet, but let me go home, do some research, and then I'll get back with you with a game plan. And I've been known to tell clients that a lot, especially if it's something like paper that is very specific. I'm like, okay, so I'll take some notes. I'll have a conversation with them. We'll go over like what their goals are, what they need to keep, what they don't need to keep. But if it is a lot of paperwork, or it's very, that you need them to answer questions as you're going through it, then telling them, hey, it would really be nice if we could do a session on a day that you're off work so you could sit there and answer questions as I'm going through, or at least be around in the house and check in with me throughout the session so I can ask you questions. because I want this to work for you moving forward. And I want you to be able to maintain the system that I set up. And so saying those things is completely fine. Like that is part of what we're there to do, is to take kind of what's in their brain and help make it a reality. But if we're not asking them questions, or we're not getting their input, or they're not willing to give their input and they just expect us to do it, then it makes it our job very hard. And so sometimes you have to have those hard conversations with clients and just let them know, hey, this is going to be really hard for me to do without having you around to at least answer some questions or check in with me, or even be right here doing this part with me. And then once I get a hang of who you are, like for instance, I tell clients all the time, especially if we're going to be doing multiple sessions together, I tell them, I'm like, listen, definitely the first session, or maybe the first 2 sessions, if you can do it with me, then from there, I'm going to get to know you and like what you want to keep, what you want to release, what your goals are, what works in this area, what doesn't work for you, to where the sessions after that, I can do more on my own. But especially that first session, I need you there as much as possible so we can collaborate on this, because I want this to be everything that you expect it to be. And again, especially when it comes to paperwork, that's one of those things. And when it comes to doing declutter sessions, it's hard to know what someone else wants to keep or what they don't want to keep. Unless it's like kids' clothes, then you can do sizes, which makes it a lot easier. But you'll figure these things out as you go. I promise. Like it's just one, figuring it out one client at a time, which again is why I love having the membership, is because whenever you are dealing with a hard client, you're able to hop in there and be like, okay, so here's the consultation I just had. Like, here's what I'm dealing with. Does anyone have any suggestions? And instead of it just being like a bunch of random people that do their business differently, trying to give you a bunch of different advice, it's actually women that know you and that you've built a relationship with, and that are also, most of them, doing their business very similarly to how you're doing yours. So, okay, I have one more question that Autumn had, and that is, how do I find my niche to set myself apart from competition? Honestly, when it comes to niches, however you want to say that, it really is trial and error. So the only way to know what you like doing or what you hate is to try it. I know a lot of people teach like, oh, just pick a niche and go with it. And, but if you promote yourself as, let's say, the garage master that can do any garage, and then you get into a session and your first garage, or even first 2 garages, you realize, oh my gosh, this is a lot of physical labor. I hate sweating. Like, I'm not enjoying this. There's bugs and like, yuckiness and all the dust. And oh my gosh, I saw a mouse, or like, you don't know what you enjoy or what you don't enjoy until you try it. And so for me, the reason that I kind of niched into decluttering was just because I had done it for myself, and I knew that I wanted to help other women do the same for themselves. So if you have some sort of story of something you've done for yourself and you feel called to specialize in something like decluttering versus organizing, or if you have, done your own master closet and you loved the way that was done, but you don't have to niche down when it comes to being a local business. You can, but you've got to go out and at least work with a handful of clients to figure out, do I like this? Do I not? I always recommend for my ladies, I'm like, listen, put it out there, try it, see if you like it. If you think it's something you might like, do a session or 2 with other people, because it's different organizing for yourself or decluttering for yourself than it is for someone else. Try a few sessions, then decide, is this something I love? Does this light me up? If it does, then yes, let's niche down to this thing. But if you don't love it, then okay, take it off of your services or stop promoting it. You can still leave it on your services because it's something you could do for someone, but just stop promoting it. Then start promoting something else. See if you like doing that thing. It really is about trial and error more so than it is about just picking something, because we want to love our lives. We are starting these businesses to build our lives in the way that we want them to be built and to be very strategic. And so sometimes niching down is more about speaking to a specific person that is in a specific, either like that's in transition in life, or that maybe is a single parent that is overwhelmed, or is maybe the elderly that wants to downsize. Any of those things, it's more about the emotion of how they are feeling and how working with you can help them to feel better. So sometimes you want to talk more to the emotions of, I know you're feeling this way. Either I've been there too, or my clients have, or whatever stories you have to draw from to help connect the two of you. And then help them understand working with me will make you feel, have more peace and joy in your home. And you'll want to actually come home and be excited to walk through the door and not stressed when you walk through the door after a long day of work or whatever. That's just an example, but you just have to do a little bit of soul searching, or you do a little bit of trial and error, figure out what it is that you like or don't like, and then you will figure it out as you go. I know that we all think we have to have all of the answers from the get-go before we even launch, but we do not. It's one step at a time. Take the stress away, keep taking those steps, and everything will start to fall into place, and you will start to figure these things out as you go through the steps. But that's also why building a business takes time. Like, we are creating a business and we are playing the long game. This is something that we want to do for the rest of our lives, or at least a period of time. And so it's not going to just magically happen for us overnight. And I promise you, all of the things you're learning right now while starting to build this business, it is going to help you in your future endeavors, whether you stay a professional organizer or not. It's going to help you, and then it's going to get you even closer to your calling and to the thing that does light you up. Even if you find out that this isn't exactly what you want to be doing, it may open some other doors that, had you not taken these steps, those doors would have never been open, or you would have never even realized you enjoyed those things. All right. So Peaceful Spaces Home Organization in the group had said, besides name and number, what else do you include on your business card? So I've got this and then two more questions, and then I'm going to wind up. But for me, the one thing I learned with my business card is, you definitely want your photo, because when you go and put your business card out somewhere, people connect, just like on Instagram and other places. They connect to a photo, to a person's photo. The other thing that you want is, you want it to say either professional organizer or professional organizer that specializes in declutter, or decluttering specialist, or whatever you want to say. But you want that to be above kind of the fold, because what I realized in my first set of business cards that I created, you've got to think, if you've got it in some sort of little like business card holder, half of it gets covered. And so when you go to put your actual card in there, the bottom half of that card is going to be covered up. So it matters what's on the top half of that card. The coloring matters. For me right now, mine on the front have half of it is a photo of me. The other half says Samantha Brown, professional organizer, and my phone number. That is above the fold. And then it also has my website and my logo. Then on the back, I have my logo big, but then it has my Facebook business page. It has my Instagram business page, and then my email of how they can reach me. And all of that is on the back. So, the front, you just want to keep it super simple. You want to make sure they can see your pretty face. You want to make sure that your name, and even if you put the word professional organizer in a different color that makes it stand out better, whatever you can that's going to grab their attention, because as they're walking past business cards, especially at like a smoothie shop or wherever you end up putting the cards at, whenever they walk past, it's like a split second that you have that you want to connect to them, which is why I wanted them to like see my face and see the word professional organizer more than anything. And that's why I wanted it above that fold whenever I ordered the business card holders, which you can also order business card holders that are somewhat see-through on the bottom half, but they're still kind of they have like a haze to them. So you don't fully get to see what's on the bottom part. But there's a lot of different options out there for different business card holders that you can purchase on Amazon. So just be aware as you create your business card. But yeah, you just want your information, whatever you have. If you don't have your socials ready to go yet, just at least make sure your website's on there, like your name, your phone number, your website, and maybe like an email that they can reach out to you. You just want to make it as simple as possible for them to reach out to you. And, from there, then get them into your funnel where, they reach out to you, you have a phone call, then you set up a consultation, and then you set up a session. And, that funnel is what I'm speaking of. Next question is, how do you deal with health insurance as a small business owner finally taking the leap from 9-to-5 job to full-time business? And this is from Tanya. So Tanya, honestly, I looked it up and the best place that I could find was healthcare.gov/self-employed. It had a lot of options on there. The other thing you could do is Google health insurance for self-employed solopreneur. Like, you don't want to really search for business owner, because then it starts thinking that like you have employees, and that's not what you're looking for. You are looking for a self-employed solopreneur in whatever state you're in or whatever country you're in. And so, but healthcare.gov/self-employed had a lot of good information again, or you can Google healthcare for solopreneurs in your state and see what pops up. All right. And then very last question, Autumn had asked, what supplies do you bring with you to organizing jobs? Are there any product recommendations? So I know I talked about the Husky trash bags for sure. I also go and get gloves, not like latex gloves that are easy to rip. I get the ones that come in like a 5 or a 10 pack. They're a little more expensive, but for me, they are so worth having because it protects my hands. So there's those, and I get those from Home Depot as well. And then, so for your consultation, literally all you need is your notepad, like your notebook that has the clipboard on the front. So you can put your client agreement, release of liability waiver, and then maybe like if you bring your client intake form because you want to take some additional notes while you're at the consultation, you want that on the front of the notepad with your pen. Then you just need your phone for taking photos, and then you need your measuring tape, and that's about it at the consultation. Now, during your actual like sessions, you definitely, of course, need the gloves and the garbage bags. I always have a bunch of this stuff in the car. So I went to, I think, Dollar General or Target or somewhere, and they have those boxes that have kind of the lid that closes, but they're a pretty big box. And inside of that box, I put my label maker, the extra label tape, so I can give them options depending on what the product is that it needs to be put on there. I always bring like some Lysol wipes, or if you have a certain type of spray and paper towels that you would like to bring if you want to do, like Mrs. Meyer's or something like that. Now, we are not cleaners, but as we go through certain areas, we definitely want to dust off shelves and clean things up. Your Sharpies you want. It's nice to have Post-it notes as just to have in case you need those. Let's see, then personal supplies. So it's nice to have some Neosporin, some Band-Aids, because sometimes our fingers get cut. We're, doing a bunch of different stuff. So you might need Neosporin, Band-Aids, some sort of little snack like a granola bar or, just something that's quick and easy, some crackers, something that just gives you some energy in the middle of a session while you are still continuing to work. Maybe an extra bottle of water. Baby wipes are good to have. Definitely some hand sanitizer. I use my hand sanitizer all the time. And then deodorant, just in case you forget your deodorant that day. Or you have 2 sessions maybe in one day, or who knows, life gets crazy. The other thing that I would recommend, I always keep an extra pair of socks or some extra house shoes. So a lot of our clients, they want us to take our shoes off at the door. And so I like to keep a pair of house shoes that I use for in the client's home that I'm able to bring home and wash and then put back in my car for the next client that may want me to wear house shoes. Some clients don't care. They don't even think twice about you wearing your shoes in their home. But it's always nice when you go to do a session or even the consultation to ask, would you like me to take my shoes off? And, they'll tell you yes or no. And if they say yes, then you can be like, oh, and I've got some house shoes I can wear while I'm here. Let me go grab those out of my car. So I hope that I know it's gone a little long, but it was a lot of fantastic questions. I thank you all so much for trusting me to be your coach and for trusting me to answer your questions. I hope that this, helps you and that it inspires you. Again, if you want to come join us in the group coaching community, the doors are open again. I don't know if you heard the newest podcast episode that just came out this morning, but I kind of explained in the first 3 or 4 minutes why the doors are open again whenever they were supposed to be closed through the end of the year. And the reason is because just like you, I'm trying new things in my business, like in the podcasting world and in the coaching and with the courses I'm creating. And so I'm trying new things. If they don't work, then I reassess, I pivot, and I try something new again. And a lot of the people that I was listening to were saying, oh, shut your doors, only open your doors for your membership like once or twice a year, and you'll have a wait list of people wanting to join. And that's not what ended up happening, not for me anyways, which is fine. I tried it. It didn't work. So now I'm trying something new. So now, especially for these holidays, I wanted to open the doors again because I've had more people want to join since the doors were open last time than I did while the doors were open. And I was sick of telling people the doors aren't open right now. So the doors are open. So come join us in the group coaching community. It's a monthly membership. It is $47 for the month, but you get 3 group coaching sessions, at least 1 workshop. Some months it's 2 workshops, and then you get a co-working session. I have a replay vault of like over 50 videos of previous workshops, previous group coaching sessions. We have an app that goes on your phone to where you can reach us at any time. When I say us, I mean me and all the other ladies that are in the membership. Whenever you come to join at proorganizers.community, there's 2 options. It's start your business or scale your business. Start your business is also where I have all of my release of liability form, my client agreement or contract, whatever you want to call that, the photos of those in there. So if you're more at the point of just getting started and you want to see those types of things like paperwork, the client intake form, all of that stuff's posted in the Start Your Business one. And then recently, I also just did a virtual organizing session with Trista in the group. She was fantastic. It cut out a little bit during it, but it's okay because when she'd go into her closet, the internet would cut out a little. But if you're going to do virtual organizing sessions, that could happen with your clients. And then I've also, Autumn, actually the one I just answered some questions for, she helped me. So I'll be posting that in there soon as well. I'm constantly trying to come up with new things, and anything that the ladies need from me, I immediately go on the hunt and try to either find someone else that knows what they are talking about to come explain to us and do a workshop, or I go try to figure it out myself. My goal is to be here for you, and my goal is also for the other ladies to support you. I love watching them support each other and help each other. And all of these questions that I just answered here, almost every single one of them have been a question that has been posted in the membership. And then all of them have kind of been like, oh, well, my business card looks like this, or, oh, my business card looks like this, and posting photos. And I don't know. I love the camaraderie and the sisterhood that we have going on in there. And so if that is something you are looking for, is support and a sisterhood of women that get you, that is where you want to be as you are starting, growing, or scaling your business. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. If you've gotten any value from today's episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us grow, and it warms my heart to hear from you. And make sure to stay connected with us on socials at Pro Organizers Coach. Then go to proorganizerscoach.com to find all the ways that we can help you succeed in your business. You have the power to make a difference in people's lives through decluttering and organization. Keep honing your skills, embracing those challenges, and fostering connections within our organizing community. Progress will come with every step, so keep pushing forward and you will achieve your dreams. Girl, you've got this.